So, this is a video to go over section 1.5 exponents. So exponents look like the little raised numbers as in these notes down here. And actually what that's called is superscript, because super means up in this case. If the number was down here, they'd call it subscript, under, but this is superscript, so it's raised. That's just what that's called. Anyway, so there are some key terms for these, which you've seen before over the years. So the basic idea is this. If you have repeated multiplication, as in 8 times 8 times 8 times 8, well, you could write that, but that's taking up a lot of space and time, so why not instead come up with a little shorthand and call it 8 to the power of 4 or 8 to the 4th power, which means you take the base, the number or the factor that you are multiplying against itself, and you look at the exponent. That tells you how many times you're going to repeat the multiplication. So if the base is 8, I'm going to take 8 and I'm going to multiply it against itself 4 times. So 8 to the power of 4. 8 to the first, 8 to the second, 8 to the third, 8 to the fourth. Okay? Now, another way to peek at this is the power. So if you have this, again, repeated multiplication resulting in 8 to the fourth, then the power, 8 to the 4th power, is the whole thing, right? So, for example, if I'm writing this down, I could write, let me choose a different color. The 8, remember, is the base. And you might want to remember because it's lower than the exponent, kind of like the basement is the lowest part. So the 8 is the base. The 4 is the exponent. So those are two different things. That tells you how many times you're going to multiply the base against itself. Okay? Now, the two things combined, the base and the exponent combined, are called the power, because they become powerful once they're together. 8 to the 4th power. It's a lot bigger than 8, and it's a lot larger than just a 4, for example. So those are the pieces. Let's go ahead and look at, we already talked about the exponent. So how to read these things. So x to the 2nd power, up here, x is the base, the 2 is the exponent, x to the 2nd power is the power, right? Base, exponent, combined, they are a power. So you can read it x to the 2nd power, or you can say x squared. Any number or variable raised to the 2nd power is called squared. Any number or variable raised to the 3rd power is either read x to the 3rd power or x cubed. When you get into numbers beyond that, you go to the number itself to read it. So, for example, x with a base x with exponent 4 is read x to the 4th power, and so on as you get larger. Now, how do we figure these out? So, fill in each box to make a true statement, then find the value. So this is where computation comes in. So if they're asking, well, here's 4 times 4 times 4. Well, that's 4 to the... Now, in here goes the exponent. So I want you to, right now in your notes, go ahead and fill that in. What is it? If you have the base 4 and you're multiplying it against yourself 3 times, 4 times 4 times 4 equals 4 to the what power? And then evaluate it. How much is 4 times 4 times 4? Now you have this. You've got some number multiplied against itself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That equals 2 to the 5th. And then over here, what is the value of 2 to the 5th? In other words, take 2 as the base and 5 as the exponent. So 2 to the 5th is a power. How much is that worth? The third one is, now you have a little bit of an expression, 21 minus 3 to the 2nd power, or 21 minus 3 squared. So you want to write 21 minus, well, what's the value of 3 squared? That goes here. And then go ahead and do the subtraction, and your answer or the value goes there. So go ahead and take a moment to do that. Okay. Now, Have you finished? If you haven't finished, don't move ahead yet. Pause. You can pause this recording. Pause it. Hit play when you have all those rectangles filled in. Okay, we're back. Let's see how well you did. So, 4 times 4 times 4. The base is 4, and I'm using it against itself, multiplying as a factor 3 times, so it's 4 to the third. And 4 times 4 times 4 is, well, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 4 is 64. And this, if you look at, there's the clue, 2 to the 5th. So I'm taking 2 as the factor, and it's my base, and I'm multiplying it against itself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so it's 2 to the 5th. Again, 2 to the first, 2 to the second is 2 times 2, 2 to the third is 2 times 2 times 2, 2 to the fourth, and finally 2 to the 5th. So you figure this out, and the easiest way to do this is to bounce across and multiply as you go. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So our answer is 32. Last one, we have some work to do. So first I have to figure out what 3 to the second, or 3 squared is. Well, 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9, so the value is 9, and 21 minus 9 is 12. All right. More practice. So what is the value of 4 cubed, or 4 to the third power, plus 6? Well, remember what we're talking about here. 4 to the third power really means 4 times 4 times 4, whatever that is, plus 6 equals. So what you probably want to do, I want to keep this in parentheses. I want to keep the plus 6 out here and only do one thing at a time. For example, 4 times 4 is 16. Bring down the times 4. And then finally, 4 times 16 is, that's right, 64. And then there's the plus 6, and now I can go ahead and add. So PEMDAS, the order of operations, is really going to be important as we go through starting to use exponents. Really, really important. Okay, so if we read this slide, a student gives AB to the third power, or AB cubed, as an answer when asked to write the expression AB times AB times AB using exponents. What is the student's error? Well, if I look at AB to the third power, it is not the same as writing AB times AB times AB, right? When you break this up, and let's do that right now, AB to the third power means literally A times B to the third power. The exponent is only sitting on the B, is only attached to the B. It has nothing to do with this A. If the A was also to the third power, then there would be an exponent 3 there as well, but there's not. So the mistake they made was writing it as AB to the third power is literally A times B to the third power. Now, if I want to write the correct version of this, where they're given this over here, what is it you're multiplying 3 times? Well, I'm multiplying the two variables, multiply it together, A times B times A times B times A times B equals, well, what's the base? What's the factor you're multiplying over and over again? A times B. Keep it in parentheses and put that to the third power. That literally means AB times AB times AB, because in the parentheses they are a family. You cannot break up the AB, or A times B. Last couple examples. Now we have some sort of real-life examples, so to speak. So I look at this. Suppose you want to paint a room that has 4 walls. Each wall is a square wall, and if it's square, that means all the side lengths are exactly the same. And the side length of each wall is 10 feet. 1 gallon of paint will cover about 400 square feet. Will 1 gallon be enough for room 2 coats of paint? So you're going to paint it twice. All right. Well, the first thing I need to do is figure out the area of the wall, because area, whoops, let's try that with the pen. Area equals length times width, and the answer is always in, the answer is always in square feet. So x square feet, right? All right. So let's put that separate over here. Okay, so these are the 4 walls, for example, and they're square. Well, if each one of those is 10 feet side length, that means that's true for all 4 walls, so they're identical. So if I can figure out the square footage for one of these walls, I can just multiply that by 4 to see how much square feet I need to paint. All right, well, area equals length times width. Well, of this one wall, here's length, here's width. 10 times 10 equals 100 square feet. So one wall is 100 square feet. Therefore, 4 walls, I need 100 square feet for each one. That means I need 400 square feet of paint. Well, 1 gallon, says it right here, 1 gallon of paint will cover about 400 square feet. That's for 1 coat of all 4 walls, because each one is 100 square feet, 100 square feet, 100 square feet, 100 square feet. 400 square feet for 1 coat. Well, they want to paint each room, paint all the walls 2 coats, which means I need 800 square feet of paint. Well, I don't have that. It says, will 1 gallon of paint be enough to give the room 2 coats of paint? No, it will only be enough for 1. So my answer to this question would be no. Last example. You want to buy a new carpet for another room. The room measures 12 feet by 12 feet. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm a sort of a visual learner, so I'll draw. There's this floor, right? And it's 12 feet by 12 feet. So that would be a square room. I wrote a rectangle, but that's okay. Now, it says, the indicator says, the room measures 12 by 12. If the carpet costs $8, I need that, $8 per square foot, how much would the new carpet cost? So I need to figure out if each square foot is $8. It says it right here. Each square foot is $8. How many square feet are on this floor? Right? Well, if it's 12 length and 12 width, then to figure out the area in square feet, I would do, think about it, area equals length times width. Length is 12 times width is 12. That's 144 square feet. So I take my 144 square feet, and each square foot is $8, and I multiply it by 8, break it up. You're used to doing, I call it grocery store math, but partial products. 8 times 100 is 800. 8 times 40, just the 4, is 320, and 8 times 4 is 32. And then go ahead and add, and you get 852. $852. So, replay this as many times as you need, especially during the course of the assignment. Have a wonderful break.